It's hard to believe it's been 1 year already since the mid-air collision involving Flight 5342 and an Army helicopter. The American Airlines flight departed from here in Wichita and was just seconds away from landing in Washington, D.C.
67 people were killed in the crash, and this week the victims' families returning to the nation's capital, honoring their loved ones, and continue to push for more air safety. Our 12 News team has been in D.C. all week. Dylan Domingue starts our coverage tonight with how this tragedy prompted widespread change.
January 29th, 8:47 p.m., the time of the tragic mid-air collision over the Potomac River. A tragedy investigators say was 100% preventable. 1 year later, investigators and some lawmakers say time is ticking for new safety measures to be passed.
We want it on the president's desk, and we want it on the president's desk as soon as possible.
A message to House lawmakers.
I'm angry that the Rotor Act does not become law. The answer is the House needs to pass the bill.
Kansas Senator Jerry Moran says legislation he helped pass in the Senate and is widely supported by victims' families would require all aircraft to communicate their real-time location when flying. What is the holdup in the House?
So there's a suggestion that it's expensive to put the additional equipment, the technology on an airplane. Whatever the expense of that equipment is would be inconsequential if there is another crash.
Senator Moran says with each day the bill doesn't get passed, the risk while flying does not get reduced. Meanwhile, the National Transportation Safety Board releasing the results of their year-long investigation into the mid-air collision. The board announcing 74 findings and issuing dozens of recommendations aimed to prevent similar accidents in the future.
There are things that they see over and over again where we've made recommendations, and it's incredibly frustrating. But they know that their work will at some point get implemented.
The NTSB identified serious and long-standing gaps in safety in the D.C. airspace. And as that investigation wraps up, the work really is just beginning as families, lawmakers, and those investigators will push for permanent changes. Reporting here in the nation's capital, I'm Dylan Domingue.